G'day, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some work to this front lawn. Going to be applying some fertilizer. It's the first day of spring, so really excited to be getting an application out. And today, we're coming into spring, people are getting out, they're getting into their lawns, and I want to talk through some of the basics of using a backpack sprayer. If you want to step up your lawn care regime, then you want to be using a sprayer to put out certain products. So I want to go through some of the basics, some of the things you need to consider to be able to make sure you are being safe and getting the most out of your product. Let's get into it. So firstly, in terms of how this lawn is looking, I've just rotary mowed it today. I rotary mowed it last week as well. Sort of gotten to a bit of that point in time where I can't be bothered with the cylinder mowing as much. It's more so just come out, mow it. I'm renovating in 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, the motivation to get the cylinder is not as high. Heaps of weed pressure, plenty out here. When I first moved in, there was weeds everywhere and the coverage of grass incredibly poor. So 10 months since we moved in, it's been a massive turnaround out here. It's a very, very different space, far less weeds, which is great, but still plenty have been coming through, especially in the last 4 to 6 weeks. Heaps of broadleaf weeds, heaps of clover, and other bits and pieces that bow and arrow is going to kill nicely for me. The reason I'm getting heaps of weeds, I didn't use pre-emergent in March, I overseeded. So, you know, I've had that rye thickness come through, which has been great for winter, but the weeds, the bloody weeds. Now when it comes to spraying, here are my essentials. I've got my gum boots that I'm going to put on, I've got my products that I'm going to apply, I've got some gloves that I'm going to wear when I mix up the products. Got a measuring jug to make sure that I'm measuring out the right amounts. And I've also got this bucket which I like to use to put all of my water into here and then mix it into the sprayer. The sprayer, Sylvan gave me this, full disclosure, they gave it to me for free. A year ago, something like that, and it's a 12 litre, what's it called? 12 litre rechargeable sprayer, so it's got a battery, and I really like it, for sure. I'm gonna fill this up, talk you through a few bits and pieces. Now, calibrating your sprayer so that you know how much liquid or how much fluid you are going to put out over your lawn is super important. You go back about 3 videos, I did a video about sprayer calibration, go and look at that. But I know that in this sprayer, to go across it in 2 directions, that I want to have about 9 litres in this sprayer. I'm going to put out about 1 litre of products into this sprayer, so I'm going to fill this bucket to about 8 litres. Oh, that was good. All right, so in terms of my products today, I'm applying Lawn Tips Winter Mix. Waiting for the spring mix in the mail. I think I do have some spring mix left over from last season, but anyway. Now, with your products, always, before you buy something, especially when it comes to herbicides and other bits and pieces, fertilizers, without going into a big discussion, pretty much fine for most lawns. There's different nutrients and stuff in them, but look, that's a whole other video. Now, when it comes to your products, make sure you read the label, make sure you know that it's compatible with your lawn type, because some herbicides will be really damaging on certain lawns, and other lawns, they'll kill the weeds and leave the lawn untouched. So you're good to go. If you've been watching for a while, this is mainly for my push sprayer, my walk behind sprayer, but hey, it's got a funnel. Now, in terms of mixing up products, I've got the amount of water here that I want to use, so I'm going to put in somewhere 60–70% of this. Okay, so when it comes to mixing up products, these are an organic fertilizer, these ones. So especially when you're using other herbicides and stuff, you want to be careful with how much you're using. But it's super important to make sure that you apply the correct amount, because if I was to just go, and what some people do, and what I did probably when I was, you know, first starting to care about my lawn at all, go buy a bag of fertilizer at Bunnings, chuck the whole thing on your lawn and hope for the best. Whereas you might have 100 square meters and you've just put 500 square meters worth of fertilizer over it, and you're going to potentially do some damage. So make sure to get the most out of your products, you apply the correct amount. That's super important. So with these, I have been doing a half rate every 3 weeks. Today I'm doing a full rate, which is awesome, because my next application is going to be around about 2 or 3 weeks after I do my renovation, which, like I said, is in 3 or 4 weeks. Thanks, man. What was I saying? Yeah, so anyway, Again, something else that's important to know the size of your lawn. I know I've got 180 square meters here, and I need to do 2 mils per square meter. So each of these products, 360 mils. Alright, so now that everything is into the sprayer, I can put the rest of my water in, and that's just going to, as the water goes in, blend it all together. And now when it comes to actually spraying the products in PPE, something I always like to wear is gumboots. A lot of products will say, again, especially herbicides and things like that, to wear long pants, long sleeves, all that sort of stuff. And it's something that I'm definitely, the more I'm learning, the more I'm being aware of it and doing. So yeah, look, today, the gumboots, organic fertilizer, I'm all sweet with that. This boom spray attachment, you'll often have a single nozzle at the top there. I love this boom spray attachment. I absolutely love it. I can get really low to the ground. I can get really nice coverage. It just does a fantastic job. Again, full disclosure, Sylvan gave me all this stuff. This sprayer you can buy at Bunnings. This attachment, you need to look up your closest Sylvan dealer. You just type in Sylvan dealer into Google and find one of those. I love it. Really, really effective. A good bonus tip, especially if you've got a full sprayer, is to fill it up on a bench top or something like that. That's a lot easier to sling onto your back. But now, something I did when I got my first backpack sprayer, which was from my neighbour who was a gardener, pump action backpack sprayer, and something I did was I'd walk along and spray like this, in this motion. I don't know why, because it's just not the best way to get full, nice, even coverage. Whether you have got one of these boom attachments or you've just got a single nozzle, you want to be walking along and pointing it straight down at the ground. So for me with this boom attachment, I want to make sure that spray ends there and the outside of that spray ends there. So that's what I'll be focusing on. So I'm using my mower marks here. I can see the lines of the rotary mower where they went. So I'm approximately going one of these nozzles each line of the mower. Quick one to touch on is spraying conditions. There is barely any wind today, which is awesome because I'm not going to be getting any spray drift, getting really nice coverage, beautiful day to spray. Now, the second thing I'm about to do here is make sure I cover this zone in 2 directions. So I've gone this way across it. Now I want to go this way across it. So you want to go north, south, east, west over your space to make sure that you cover everything. Now, if you are like me, you will like things to be nice and square and even and, you know, really tidy all the time. Something to be aware of and to understand is that you are never going to get this 100% even, but you can do things like this that I've just been talking about to make sure you get as close as possible. So once it is all sprayed out, what we need to do next is make sure you know what to do with the aftercare of the product. So I know that mix of fertilizers, that I need to let it dry on the leaf. That exact blend of fertilizers, it can get watered in if rain came across in half an hour. It wouldn't be the end of the world. So this one's a bit of a flexible product, but for something like a pre-emergent, it needs to be watered in. For something like a wetting agent, a soil wetter, that needs to be watered in. For a herbicide, you want that to dry and stick on the leaf of the weeds. So you need to make sure that you let that dry, If rain came through half an hour after you applied it or you watered your lawn, then you're gonna be washing the herbicide off the leaf and you're probably gonna get very little kill on the actual weed, which is not what you want. So yeah, lawn care products are obviously not free. I think a lot of lawn care products actually do work out quite cost effective, especially when you compare them to some other hobbies. But yeah, you do definitely want to make sure that if you're going out, you're taking the time, you're filling up your sprayer, all that sort of stuff, that you are making sure that you get the most out of it. Now another really important thing is about re-entry periods after you have used a product. I've had a lot of questions about this recently, and it's something that is definitely important, and I've always been concerned about it with my kids, and I've always had lots of people who are concerned about it with their pets and all that sort of stuff as well. And I have had a few chats with Ben Sims from Lawn Tips about this in the last few days as well. And I think something that's really important to remember when we're spraying, whether it's fertilizers, herbicides, pre-emergents, insecticides, fungicides, all of these things, if you can buy it off any website, then it's pretty good chance that unless you pour it over your cereal or put it in the bath with you, you're going to be pretty fine, okay? Use proper precautions. If you're worried about a bit of spray drift, or if it is a chemical that says to wear a face mask or whatever that is, if you have sensitive skin, all those sorts of things, absolutely take precautions for sure. But you would not be able to buy this stuff if there were animals and, you know, small children dropping dead left, right and center and having massive reactions, and it was a very, very dangerous chemical. Again, don't have it in your cereal, don't have a bath in it, but you know, it wouldn't be available to us if it was incredibly harmful. My best advice is, once you've sprayed something, let it dry, okay? I have always aimed to get out mid-morning once it's dry, spray a product, and then the kids will go out for the day somewhere. Or if it's, you know, later in the afternoon, it's 4 p.m, all right, the kids have been outside, come inside, Dad's gonna go spray, and we can go back out there tomorrow once it's dried and it's all fine, okay? I think they're the best practices. If it makes you feel better to do it in the morning and wait 24 hours, you know, sometimes you might want to go out and really hose down your lawn or water the lawn the next morning. So you spray today, it dries, it absorbs. Give it a big soak the next morning if it's going to make you feel better about washing down any potential residual stuff on the leaf. Make sure you're obviously being cautious, but it is just, I think, really important to remember that, yeah, this stuff wouldn't be available to us if it was incredibly harmful. Now, I'm pretty happy with how I've done there with my walking speed and my sprayer calibration, because that is a tiny, tiny amount of fertilizer left over after going across it 2 directions. And now something really important to do is make sure you wash out the sprayer. Sorry to be a broken record if you watch all of my videos, but today with an organic fertilizer, I'm going to wash it out, but I'm not as concerned about really giving it a thorough rinse as much as I would be if it was a herbicide, or, you know, a non-selective like Roundup or something that I'd use today. Run this through just to clear the line a bit, so it's not going to be fertilizer sitting inside the line, it's going to be water. Now you might also notice this garden bed here is getting a little bit barer in recent weeks. It's going to get a little bit barer again before some planting gets done. I'm doing an online gardening course at the moment, which I'm really enjoying, and the backdrop to this patch of lawn here into that garden bed is going to be amazing. I can't make any promises on how soon, but soon, it's happening. But yeah, thanks heaps guys for watching that video. Hopefully that answers a lot of questions, common misconceptions, and just gives you a really solid idea of how to be confident with using your backpack sprayer, getting the most out of it, being safe with it, how important it is to read the label of products, to apply them the right way, the right amount, all of that sort of stuff. If you've got any questions, make sure they go down in the comments section. I'll go through and answer them once the video's been up for a little bit. So look out for that. You can also hit me on Instagram. My private Facebook group that's come along with the lawn programs that I launched last week as well. I'll put a link for that in the description. There's been great feedback on that, and I'm really looking forward to helping, you know, a lot of people improve their lawns and the spaces for their families to enjoy this growing season. And yeah, that private Facebook group has been a fantastic little community so far in the first 5 days or however long it's been. So looking forward to that continuing to grow and thrive. And yeah, look, that's about it, I think. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you in the next one.